Welcome to Red V TV, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2024 season. As we continue our build-up to the new campaign, the games, the pre-season are out the way, and the countdown is on to the London Broncos, Kevin.
Yeah.
And with 11 days to go, it can only mean one thing.
It's time for our number 11. It's Sione Mata'utia, and Sione is sponsored by Tom Crow Procurement Solutions Limited.
Tom Crow Procurement Solutions are a procurement solutions organisation created to help level the playing field and boast the vast experience of their creator, who incorporated the business in 2018 to support the commercial and procurement needs of organisations of all shapes and sizes, from new entrants to established supply chain partners, from sole traders to multi-billion-pound organisations. Multi-billion-pound organisations, Kev, that's us sorted.
Yeah, that's us. Nice one. Get in touch with them, Dave. Get it all sorted.
Yeah. Sione Mata'utia, Kevin. A man who needs to see less yellow.
He does. I've actually just, while you were doing the introduction, rudely ignored everything you said and had a look at how many matches he played for Saints last year. And it was 24, which is the most appearances he's made in a season for Saints. But there is still that no smoke without fire thing of it does seem to get caught up in it. And I think our abiding memory, the last bit of last season was me and you looking at each other in Catalan Stadium going, could that have been red? With the
it does have to be said, Kevin. If you do see yellow, you still do get an appearance.
Yes, you do. That's true. Yeah, that is true. But I think it's the bans off the back of that people then think of. And obviously saw yellow in our last game of last season when we got knocked out of the playoffs by Catalan. And I think it's going to be an interesting season this year for Sione with the potential move into the front row.
Yeah, people would assume this is well researched. I couldn't actually tell you how many times he got yellow last season, whether we're being overly critical. Potentially like the time about 10 years ago where it called Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook a penalty machine and got pillared for it.
And who did he get pillared off?
I think at the time it might have been the future Mrs. McCarthy Scarsbrook.
It was, yeah.
And you know what, Kevin? She was right. As all wives usually are.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, Sione moving into the potentially playing a bit of prop this year. Will he play the Louis role? Good segue there.
Yeah, I think the mobile prop, who does decent minutes, that could well be his role for this year. Saw a little bit of Matt Whitley in the friendly or the trial game, as I keep calling him, against Salford, to show that we're police stocked in the second row. And it sounds all the sounds sound like he is going to be almost like a bit of an impact prop, keeping the levels up rather than us seeing a bit of a tail off when someone comes off the bench. You want them to continue and push them energy levels, and it looks like Sione will be doing that. It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't start some games as well, just to mix it up. But yeah, it looks like a little bit of a change in position, and it's another position that he can add to playing for Saints in while he's done centre, second row, and now doing a bit down the middle.
Is he guaranteed his place in the 17?
Good question. Is how many people are?
Yeah, and is that a good thing for the club that it's based on form? Because I'm looking at he missed out against Salford over the weekend in the pre-season game, and you think, well, who's he coming in for if he's back for London? And it's that competition for places that is really going to help us this year. Listen, I'm sure all of our second rows props will get a fair amount of game time, but the big decisions are going to come in the showpiece events. if or when everyone is fit.
I was going to say, assuming everyone's fit and available, that's probably the case. As you say, we can at least change people up and not be running the same pack every single week. We can freshen it up here and there. I'd probably argue that when I say how many are guaranteed the place, you have got quite a few. You've probably got 9 or 10 who you would say they are definite stick-ons in the, if not more, in the 17. But he's going to be one of them who, if he is changing position, we keep talking about it, he's just got to be better than 2 or 3 others around him. So he's got to be better than the likes of George Delaney. He's got to be better or as good as Matty Lee's Alex Walmsley. He's a different player than them two. But he needs to be in that mould of he's better than Jake Wingfield. He's better than George Delaney, as I say, and he's just maintaining them standards. I suppose it is a good thing that if we've got quite a few who can play front row, still with Iggy Party to come back in as well. But if we've got quite a few who can play the front row, then my thing of I don't want to see George Delaney absolutely flogged throughout the season. It allows you to give lads like him, lads like Jake Wingfield, who's coming back off, 9 months out with injury. It gives them the chance to just have a week off, just go and rest and recharge. You're not going to Swinton. You're going to have your break because we've got players like Sione who can either fill in or is currently holding the shirt and he's doing a great job for us.
Did you see situations this year where, like traditionally, if you're named on the bench as the mobile prop, you come on and play mobile prop, whatever. Can you see situations this year where you've got the likes of Morgan Knowles, Sione, who will play in the back row and then during a game, switch and maybe do a 10-minute stint at prop just to lighten the load of our forwards?
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Just to, as you say, just to take a little bit of workload off the props. We speak about how the whole squad is obviously. I'm not going to go down the completely aging route because the likes of Matty Lees aren't old players. Morgan Knowles isn't an old player. But if you need to give someone an extra 10 minutes to get a breather, and we are playing a team who you think is going to be towards the bottom end of the table, so your Salford's based on what we saw in the first half on Sunday, your London's, teams like that, then he probably can do that and just take a couple of drives in and lighten the load on the other lads and let them have another 5-10 minutes breather and not flog them in games that they don't need to be flogged.
You spoke a couple of days ago about Morgan Knowles and you never wanted to see him play at 9.
Yep.
Given that we're potentially bulking Sione a little bit to play prop, do you want to see Sione lining up in the centres at all this year?
Not if we can help it. I'm more comfortable with Sione in the centres. But is that going to be along the lines of seeing Louis in the centres, as in, what needs must, and he plays there for 20, 30 minutes and you can get away with it?
Yeah, is it like if you need to in an in-game situation because of an injury, a card, but ideally you're never ever going to see him named in a starting lineup at centre?
Yeah, probably that's more of the case. It's an injury swap during a game rather than it happening as a named, as you say, is named in the left centres or right centres or whatever. Yeah.
It's mad to think that Sione is actually only 27 as well.
Yeah.
This is his 4th season at the club. We've got him for 2024 with the option of extending it for a further 12 months after that. It's fair to say that we could still see the best of Sione to come.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's almost like he's turning. As we try to turn him into a little bit of a Sia Soliola, where he's come over as a centre second role, been more in the centres, and then he ends up moving more into the middle as his career progresses. And if he goes half as well as Sia did for us, then we'll be doing all right, won't we?
Yeah. Right, Kev, I think that is our number 11, Sione Mata'utia, done and dusted.
Excellent.
We will be back tomorrow with another player preview. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Catch you soon.